What's going on, everybody? Hey, Mike, Real Low Dad here in the backyard. Just finished up a little mow. It's looking pretty good. You can see an obvious, very, extremely freaking I'm pissed off obvious line between Sunday and X-Green and peptides. I'm pissed. Today is the 26th of June. My shipment does not go out until July 3rd, so that means I won't get it probably until sometime like Wednesday or Thursday of the following week. And you know what? They screwed the pooch on 4th of July weekend. You know, it's Memorial Day, 4th of July, people have barbecues, they want to have a good time. Well, we can't really have barbecues right now, COVID's kind of still crazy, but if it's cool in your area and you're having get-togethers, oh, I'm sorry, you got a giant freaking line through your yard. Yeah, but we're not talking about that today. Today we're talking about that little 180-ish square feet of Bluemuda. That sounds fancy, but before we get into what it actually is, let's say what it isn't. And what it isn't is me coming out here with a hose end sprayer, 4 gallons of marking blue, and just spraying everything all around to try to make my lawn look like the world's best Bermuda lawn, because that's a bunch of crap. Because marking blue, when it's diluted down, makes things green, you know, color wheels and stuff. You add some more blue to some lime green under fertilized garbage, and you know what that makes? Yellow and blue make green. Yeah, that's how he does it. Holy cow, it took a PhD for that. What Bluemuda is I'm gonna go with the term mingling from, you know, my favorite 90s actor and comedian, Pauly Shore. Mingling, I can't do it with his weird Southern California voice, but no, mingling and, you know, charisma and all that fun stuff. But no, it's the mingling of a variety of Bermuda grass, a variety of Kentucky bluegrass. Those, of course, both kind of suited for the region, but then suited and paired together that would provide optimal color and texture as to not create too big of like an appearance mismatch, living together in the overall pursuit of year-round green. Because, you know, cool season grasses, you know, Kentucky bluegrass, tall fescue, all that, they have the tendency to go dormant in the heat of the summer months. Unless you're my Kentucky bluegrass in the front yard. No, you're doing really good right now. But that's the ultimate goal, is to have a year-round green, and for a playing surface. So it's typically, you know, like soccer fields, athletic fields, things like that. It has transitioned into the yard. All Bluemuda is just a mixture of Kentucky bluegrass and Bermuda grass. That's about it. Oh, look at this. Can you all hear that? It's like oh, that better be a tequila truck. Let's go check it out. Polar ice or Kong ice. Need a freaking daiquiri truck or something this time of year. Oh, that'd be awesome. If year-round green's like the main reason for a Bluemuda lawn, why would you go about a Bluemuda approach versus simply overseeding with like a perennial ryegrass like Champion GQ every year? Well, that's to alleviate some of the challenges with overseeding with rye. Now, there's challenges we'll get to in a little bit on Bluemuda. The challenges with ryegrass, though, I've overseeded this lawn twice in the fall. Did it the first year I had the grow-in, did it again last year with the SOS Max, and both times I screwed it up. So the first year I overseeded, and I didn't use Champion GQ. It was something from Mountain View. I got local and picked up from Dickens. I put it down way too early. I think I put it down like Labor Day weekend, and hey, it started coming up, everything's great. I'm like, woohoo, I'm gonna beat Ryan Knorr in that stripe off. My game plan was perennial ryegrass, destroy Ryan Knorr. That was my game plan then. It might be my game plan now. You don't know. it got like 95 degrees, 100 degrees for like 10 days, no rain. And that was like through mid-September. Yeah, that killed most of it. So challenge one is you have to time out when you're overseeding it. You do it too early, it dies. You do it too late, it gets cold too fast, doesn't germinate until March. And you just run into, there's issues. Then in the springtime, you face a whole new set of issues. You have to deal then with the transition. Now, those of you like with a cool season lawn or a warm season lawn that do not overseed, you think the transition might be instant, like bam, it's done. Well, it's not. You have to time that to where it's hot enough to work, hope that it doesn't cool back down again, probably have to reapply it again because it's going to cool back down again. Then when you go to reapply it again, it's warmed up, the Bermuda's there, it dings it a little bit, but that's not okay. But then you're living with like this crap here in my Sunday section. Way to go, Sunday. Pissed off. So you have to deal with the transition. And the goal with a Bluemuda lawn is not dealing with that transition. So that's why it's becoming an option, is you don't have to deal with the overseeding every fall and then the transition from ryegrass to Bermuda grass in the springtime. So what are my impressions of my 180 square foot area? Well, I've been very, very pleased. That's the part of the lawn I am most happy with, is that little bit there. So let's take a look at that real quick. You can see here a pretty good mix between the Bermuda and the Kentucky bluegrass down in there. It's still doing really, really well. The Bermuda's been scalped a little bit. That was part of when I was out of town and it got really, really tall. I need to actually come back and scalp this Bermuda again to reset the height of cut, but I'm honestly just kind of interested more in how the Kentucky bluegrass is doing over the summer versus having an absolutely perfect patch of Bermuda over here. So that's why I've left it like this. I want to see how the Kentucky bluegrass does, because that will actually ultimately determine my decision on doing this in the whole yard. And unfortunately, that time is coming up soon, very, very soon. It looks pretty good. Yes, there is that scalping bit, but you know, I don't want to scalp it and stress the Kentucky bluegrass. Like I said, I want to give that a chance to shine and see how it does through summer. I'm so impressed. I'm actually taking the risk and I'm doing the whole backyard. So how do you go about actually getting a Bluemuda lawn? Since there's like no freaking information and the only people that really have information is a company that wants to sell you sod. That's a tough one. Now, I have a friend up at Ohio State and he's interested in seeing someone sprig a Bermuda lawn into a Kentucky bluegrass lawn. May try some of that with the front yard if I can figure out my sprig issues here in the back that I haven't started yet. But I followed kind of the same exact approach that I would do for overseeding of ryegrass. However, I started it in August. What I did leading up to that though is I was looking at my growth regulation and the GGDs and all that. I followed them very loosely. And when I say loosely, it's a guess. Yeah, don't have a lot of time to follow that. I should be following that, but I don't. So yeah, that's what it is. I should be following it, but I don't. But what I did was I applied a healthy rate, a little bit higher rate. It was the same rate overall in the mixture because I just applied it once I put down another T-Nex application back here. But I kind of went over it a couple extra times, made a little bit extra to help slow it down. And when I did that, I then scalped it. I scalped it not super low, but I scalped it pretty low. Then I went back with a garden rake, roughed it up a little bit, and I don't have footage of any of this. I'm sorry. It was August. It was hot outside. How do you expect me to film when it's hot outside? So I did that, kind of broke up more stolons, went over it with the rotary to suck up the loose ones, went over it again with the reel mower to scalp it down again, roughed it up a little bit more, did that a few times just to kind of start seeing dirt. Then I seeded in, and I think I seeded probably around 2 or 3 pounds per thousand, but being that it's 180 square feet, I think I just put a pound down, which that's more like 10 pounds per thousand. Yeah. Or no, it might have been half a pound. I don't know. I don't remember. I didn't write any of it down because honestly, I didn't think it would work. And I didn't think it would make me as happy as it makes me. Because everything I was told is, you're going to regret this. You're going to regret it, regret it, regret it. And I've honestly been pleased. When I left for Salt Lake, it looked like a Kentucky bluegrass lawn. When I came back and cleaned it all up and got it back down to where it should be, below 1 inch, around a ½ inch is where I took it down to, it looked like a Bermuda lawn. And it's just like, wow, magic. After I did all that work, the T-Nex was down, everything was good, I got it seeded. I did go over and I had a bunch of peat moss left over from when I was seeding the front yard. So I gave it a good little dosing of peat moss to kind of, and then ran over it with the roller while I still had that available, got it all watered in. After I seeded though, I waited a couple days. You know, I could have done it the day I did it, but I sprayed Tenacity. I sprayed Tenacity on Bermuda grass and I lived to tell about it. Let's take a look real quick here and see what it did. Holy cow. It was like 1999 through 2002 all over again. Those frosted tips everywhere. And you might have thought I was singing bye 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 to the Bermuda grass, but alpha grass doesn't play like that. It comes back. As you can see now, it came back strong. And it's looking fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So that's how I did it. I scalped it, mowed it low, prepped the ground, raking it up, breaking up other little stolons, sucked those up to bring them up with the rotary, went over it with the reel mower again, scraped it up a little bit more to expose some dirt for the KBG seeds, put those down, covered it in peat moss, tamp, 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 roll, 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 water, 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 bam! Tenacity, frosted tips, beautiful, Bluemuda, perfection. And that's what I did. And it turned out pretty good, and that'll actually be the exact same process, and I'll document it this time for, you know, the YouTubes back here. If all of this sounds way, way, way too good to be true, well, it is. There are some downsides that go along with this. So let's talk about the challenges of Bluemuda. And I honestly can't speak to a lot of it because, holy cow, I haven't had any. Or, well, I haven't had many. So outside of the appearance issue and trying to dial everything right, I'm talking the Yukon is slightly a different shade green than the HGT bluegrass I have. Totally different texture. The HGT is a lot finer blade, looks a whole lot nicer, but from a distance it blends well. And really that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a distance. Like when you're looking at it from, you know, the street, but when you're looking up close, yeah, you can see the KBG, you can see the Bermuda, and that's something honestly I can live with. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. But the real challenge, and again, this is something I haven't had to deal with. I did a pre-emergent application this spring where, remember I talked about, do I want to overseed and add more KBG? Just out of the off chance it isn't going to work, and then spring came around and it was kind of an extended spring for a little bit. Well, not really. Once it officially hit spring, it went straight to summer. But while it was still winter, it was spring. I didn't have a whole lot of weed pressure. There was, you know, I'm facing a whole lot of weed pressure, as you all know, but I didn't really have any. There's little things here or there, but I've just picked them by hand. I mean, if it's to where it's less work for me to go hand pick a weed than to mix up something or go grab a spray bottle of store-bought whatever to spray weeds, that tells you I haven't really had much of a problem with weed pressure. I thought it would be a ton worse, but if you were in the situation of weed pressure, you're now limited because, you know, Bermuda can handle certain herbicides, you know, Certainty, Monument, love some Monument. It kills my ryegrass, or at least it tries to. You have the warm weather herbicides, then you have the cool weather herbicides, and you know, 2,4-D is, it's dangerous, but it's good. The quinclorac, it doesn't hurt most Bermuda except Yukon. Okay, what do I have? Yukon. You have to be careful with that, and then the heat restrictions that come with all that. Finding the right herbicide products to control what you have. Thankfully, I haven't had to use much anything other than, you know, some Weed Be Gone that I can pick up at Home Depot. I just have to be, you know, aware of the temperatures and when I'm spraying it, and it's usually out of a squirt bottle if I need to do it, but I just usually hand pick it. Fungus, surprisingly, I haven't had any problems over there, but I have been, when I did treat my summer patch issues in the front yard, I did apply treatment in that area. Just out of precaution. So that may be where I'm not really seeing much of an issue. So I don't know, we'll see. That'll probably be next year when I'm back here and the environment is completely 100% totally different than what it is in my front yard. That's really the biggest challenge, is coming up with an herbicide and a fungicide plan, along with honestly even fertilization, because fertilization needs differ between a Kentucky bluegrass lawn and a Bermuda lawn at varying points of the year. So you have to kind of plan all that out, and the winter was mild enough and things were working in my favor. And honestly, I haven't really been using a lot of fertilizer this year. Everything's been working out. Wow, everything's going in my direction for the first time ever. Except for that, the Sunday zone. I hate that. It makes me so freaking mad. But enough on that, we'll talk about that later. So that's it on Bluemuda. I'm doing the whole backyard. It may be too early for me to decide it, but no, not really. It's almost July, and with that I will need to find my seed. What seed am I going to use? Honestly, I have no idea right now. I've been looking over NTEP trials from the past several years, kind of going through those, looking at, you know, color, density, summer stress, you know, drought resistance, green up response, all that, trying to like pinpoint and try to find a perfect blend. Honestly, I'm probably just gonna go with the Barenberg HGT again, because I've had really good results out of it. Yeah, it can have the tendency to turn lime green, but holy crap, have you seen my front yard? It's not lime green. Wow, it looks really good. So 85% chance I'll go with that, unless I can find something else that would work better for me in these conditions. So that's why I'm just looking over the NTEP trials. So yeah, that's it. This whole thing's gonna be Bluemuda, the KBG Bermuda mix way, not the marking blue way like some people. And it's gonna look good. It's gonna be really nice, year-round green, no more spraying crap out in the springtime, getting it either too early, too late in the fall. It's going to be a fantastic experience. So with that, everyone, it is Mike, Real Low Dad. Thank you all for watching this here. If you have any Bluemuda questions or anything, or suggestions on seed usage, or if you want to see me do kind of something stupid and use a seed I shouldn't, hey, put them down below in the comments section after you like the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. And we will see you again soon. I'm going golfing tomorrow. Does that mean an off the lawn vlog? Well, it's with Will again, and I have my cold brew. So everyone, have a good night.